It sounds like we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to July 28th, 2020's Development Review Commission. The Development Review Commission is created to hold public meetings and hearings to provide analysis and recommendations to the City Council regarding general land use policies and applications where the Commission has recommendatory power, and to render final decisions on specified applications where the Commission has final decision-making power, including but not limited to all aspects of proposed and future development. The Development Review Commission recognizes that the creation of a desirable environment throughout the city for residents, business, and industry is a prime requisite for the interdependence of land values, aesthetics, and good site planning by promoting harmonious, safe, attractive, and compatible development that is therefore considered to be in the best interest of public health, safety, and general welfare. That's our preamble. It's a mouthful. Any person aggrieved by a final decision of the Development Review Commission may file an appeal to the City Council within 14 calendar days after the Development Review Commission has rendered its decision. So if you don't like what you hear tonight, you can file an appeal. You have 14 days to do so. Now, I have a note here in front of me telling me that we are on Tempe Channel 11, so we're now celebrities, folks. As well as you can join us by going to tempe.webex.com or at tempe.gov/planning. There are also means on the tempe.gov planning website where you can submit a comment on one of the cases if you want to say I support or I do not support or what have you. Apparently there's a big button there that gives you the opportunity to do that. And people are nodding their heads in a friendly manner at me, indicating I might have said something correct. All right, so with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce our commission. On my virtual left, as it were, we have Commissioner Andrew Johnson, Commissioner Don Casano, Vice Chair Michael DiDomenico. I am Chairman David Lyon. We also are graced by the presence of Commissioner Michelle Schwartz. We have Commissioner Philip Amorosi, Commissioner Scott Sumners, and our newest member, Commissioner Steve Bauer. Welcome, Steve. With me in council chambers, we have Saparna Dasgupta, Steve Abrahamson, Joanna Berry, and Greg Wolf. And also by WebEx, we have Chad Weaver, Ryan Levake, Miss Diana Kaminsky, Lee Jimenez, and Robbie Aaron joining us. So tonight, folks, our first item on the agenda is consideration of some meeting minutes. We have reviewed these meeting minutes. Where? I have that here somewhere. Lots of paper. We have study session and regular meeting minutes from May 26th, and we have study session and regular meeting minutes from June 9th. We have reviewed those and found some comments to be made. Other corrections were made previous to this meeting. Commission, I will hear a motion, please, regarding the approval of those meeting minutes. Let's do the May meeting first, so that if someone wishes to abstain from one and not the other, they're capable of doing so. So, yes, go ahead, please.
This is Vice Chair DiDomenico. I move approval of the study session and regular meeting minutes from May 26th, 2020.
All right, do I hear a second, please?
Second, Phil Amorosi.
Okay, so motion to approve from Vice Chair Mike DiDomenico and seconded by Phil Amorosi. Let's go down the line and see how everyone votes. Commissioner Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Geez, I need more to get my paperwork in order here. Commissioner Casano, how do you vote? Sorry, Commissioner Casano. I did not hear you. I see a little X. All right, we may have to come back to him in just a moment then. Let's do that. Pause on him. Vice Chair DiDomenico, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right. Commissioner Amorosi, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Sumners, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowers, how do you vote?
Mr. Chairman, I'll be abstaining from these minutes. I was not a member of the board at the time.
Well played. I also vote aye. And do we have Commissioner Casano available? I think he may have left the meeting and had to rejoin us to make his internet work properly or something.
Chairman, I just got a message that Commissioner Casano got disconnected, cannot see or hear.
All right. Can we send a message to him quickly saying, how does he vote on the meeting minutes so we can put that
Looks
one?
like he's back.
I'm back now.
Ah,
I don't know what happened. There was a flash at home with lights and boom, everything went off. I approved the minutes as
all right.
as shown and corrected.
Keeping it interesting. All right, the motion passes 6-0 with Commissioner Bowers in abstention. Can I please hear a motion regarding the approval of the June 9th minutes, please?
Chair, this is Commissioner Johnson. I move for the approval of the study and regular meeting minutes for June 9th, 2020.
Okay, can I hear a second, please?
Second.
All right, I'm going to say I heard Commissioner Amorosi first. So, motion to approve from Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Amorosi. Commissioner Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Casano?
Aye.
Commissioner Vice Chair DiDomenico?
Aye.
Commissioner Amorosi?
Aye.
Commissioner Sumners?
Aye.
Commissioner Bauer?
Abstain, Mr. Chairman.
All right, and I also vote aye, so the motion passes 6-0 with Commissioner Bowers in abstention. Thank you. All right, so we're moving right along, folks. Now, we have our consent agenda. We have one item which we have placed on the consent agenda, which is Tempe Market Station at 1953 East Rio Salado. This means we intend to approve this application without hearing it further because we've looked it over and we believe it's ready to be approved, unless there's someone who wishes to have this case heard and wishes to make comment on it. So do we have any indication that there's someone with us who wishes to hear this case?
Chairman, we do not.
All right, so let's move ahead with our consent agenda as it is. Can I hear a motion regarding the approval of our consent agenda, please?
So moved, Vice Chair DiDomenico.
Seconded by Don Casano.
And I'm sorry, who was the motion put forward by? I couldn't hear it clearly.
That was Mike DiDomenico.
Okay. All right, motion to approve from Vice Chair DiDomenico and seconded by Commissioner Casano. Oh, I have you in a different order on my paper, so I'm going to use that. Oh, look at that. That was there the whole time. Well, that's what I get for not paying attention to the paper in front of me. All right, let's do it that way. Commissioner Brower, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Casano?
Aye.
Vice Chair DiDomenico?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Commissioner Summers?
Aye.
Commissioner Amorosi?
Aye.
And Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
All right, the motion passes 7-0. So with that, let's move on to our next case. We have Tempe Crossings 2, Lot 1. And our applicant is Paradigm Design. It is our custom to ask our applicant to present first so they can frame the issue as they please, followed by a member of staff who will present the staff's findings. Do we have someone from Paradigm Design prepared to speak?
Chairman, for Tempe Crossing, we have Keith Wong.
Okay. It looks like I see a comment here from Bill Hadlick saying yes. I'm not sure who that is. You know what? I should probably-
Commissioner Lyon, he is part of the design team,
Ah.
but Keith Wong is the primary applicant for this record.
All right. So do we have Keith or Bill available to speak here?
Bill Hadlock will be speaking.
All right. Well, I believe we're ready. We can have staff pull up a presentation if that has been made available to them. And I'm told they're pulling that up now.
Hello, can you hear me by chance?
We can. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so I don't see the presentation, but let me know when I'm supposed to start or if I should just.
They are
just
working
kinda
on
go
it
forward.
now. I'm not sure what the
Okay.
problem is exactly. Should be up in a moment, though. You know, it's always fun. There seem to be no limit to the number of tiny little things that show up in our AV work. I just like to say that I'm grateful for the members of staff who work on this because it's not something I would want to handle. Things are continually being uncooperative.
Yeah, it seems like that's how it always goes. I am part of the team. Just Keith is the applicant. Just for the record, I'm the engineer of record for this project. So just so you know who I am, I guess.
Okay, and I'm sorry. Is this Bill speaking then?
It is. Yeah, this is Bill Hadlock with Paradigm Design,
Okay.
principal at Paradigm and the engineer of record for this project. So, you know, we had heard the committee meeting. We were there initially to hear the concern about the paving. Okay, here we go. So I guess I'll.
And, you know, Bill, I might suggest, since we very nearly had your case on the consent agenda and there was just the one question, you might speak to that directly, and then if we have more questions, we could always circle back to those.
That's perfect because, yeah, you know, absolutely. I'm here for the question. So we had received that comment from the commissioner. I just want everyone to be clear that there's 6 owners. This property that we're dealing with is like 1.3 acres. My client, Spike Lawrence and his group own that 1.3 acres, and they are just one of 6 owners that are part of an association that own all of that parking that we're talking about. So, you know, he can't just go in and you know, fix that. So again, his property is the 1.3 acres, the subject property we're talking about improving. So anyway, I guess I just wanted to be clear on that there is an association that exists of 6, and he is one of 6 individuals that are responsible for the maintenance of that entire development.
All right, so what if I jump in and do this? What if I ask Commissioner Amorosi, do you wish to ask a further question, or does that satisfy you? Go ahead and jump in if you wish.
Thank you, Chairman Lyon. I was just curious with the 6 owners, how are they going to keep up the rest of the property, or what's your feeling, Bill?
I'm not sure. I've not met any of the other owners, so I don't know the answer to that. So I know our project is going to be a great improvement to that entire thing, and we're looking forward to building it.
All right. Well, then go for it.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions for our applicant? All right, seeing none, let's come back to you, Bill. Is there anything you wish to add? Or I think we're about ready to prove otherwise.
Yeah, I'm all set. I just want to say thank you very much for all your staff working with us throughout the last couple months. So looking forward to moving on with the project. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so I think we can probably dispense with staff report. We'll go ahead and thank you, Mr. Jimenez. But let's go ahead and have a motion regarding the approval of this case. I see Commissioner Casano's hand up. Do you have a question or a motion?
No, that was the motion. I would make a motion for approval of Tempe Crossings Lot 2, Lot 1, PL 200068.
All right, do I hear a second, please?
Second, Johnson.
Okay. All right, motion to approve from Commissioner Casano and seconded by Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Brower, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Casano?
Aye.
Vice Chair DiDomenico?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Commissioner Summers?
Aye.
Commissioner Amorosi?
Aye.
And Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's move on then to Mendeville Garage. Do we have Rita Mendeville with us still?
Yes.
I hear you.
Oh, you can hear me good. Okay, I was about ready to type.
I'm smiling. I'm sure you can't tell with the mask. All right, so I'm not sure if we have anything to put on screen or not.
Chairman, we have the staff presentation, right? We have
Okay.
the staff presentation part,
Well, I don't want people to have to look at me, so let's put
Yeah.
staff presentation up. How
the
about-
staff presentation.
And Ms. Mendeville, like I say, we like to ask our applicants to frame the issue so they can present it in the best light, and then we come back to staff afterwards. Are you prepared to tell us about your application?
Yes.
All right, we'll take it away.
So basically, we are just building a, I don't know, I guess it'd be like RV garage in the back. And it has we're putting a bathroom back there too, so the grandkids can have access to going in there from the pool versus having to have them come through the house all wet. So, I mean, that's basically in a nutshell what it is. So it'll be RV storage and then, you know, regular storage stuff and then the bathroom.
All right. All right. And can you tell me, I'm just curious, what is the, what's the siding material there that we're seeing in this elevation?
T111.
It's T111, you say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't hear that last part there. I heard a second voice. Do you have somebody with you there?
Yeah, it's my husband.
All right.
Take it.
Yeah, it's T111. It's 5/8 thick, like a plywood with a grooves, like 4-inch on center.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Is there anything else you wish to tell us, or shall we start asking other questions?
I'll just ask questions, I guess.
All right. Commission, what questions do you have for our applicant? Commissioner Casano, please.
Mr. Chairman, Mrs. Mendeville, we had received a communication from somebody in the neighborhood regarding the concern about the facility of the building you're putting up becoming an apartment or a second residence on the property. Is that ever a plan or?
No, I don't want any weirdos around my grandchildren, so no.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
We never had plans for that.
thank you.
All right. Other questions? I have to scroll down, make sure I'm not missing anybody.
Chairman Lyon, Vice Chairman DiDomenico.
Yes, go ahead, Vice Chair.
I'm curious, really the reason this is before our commission is the reduction of the standard setback by 4 feet. Why not just build this and shift it 4 feet farther from your shared property line with your neighbor? What was stopping you from building it 9 feet away?
There was a tree.
There was a tree there, and we didn't want to lose the tree, and
The tree that my father planted for me, so I didn't want to cut it down.
You said there was a tree. The tree is still
no,
there?
it's still there.
It's still there.
So how far away is that tree going to be from the wall as your structure has been as it's been constructed? Because I looked at an aerial and it looks like it's a lot farther away than 4 feet.
From the tree?
Yeah. So right now, how far is that tree sitting from your current structure that you've already built?
I'll say 4 or 5 feet. I haven't really measured it to the tree.
That was my question. Thank you.
All right. Other questions for our applicant? All right, seeing none, let's move on to the staff report. We'll thank you, Ms. Mendeville, and we'll come back to you both for a chance to respond after we've heard from staff. Do we have Mr. Aaron available?
Yes, sir.
All right, take it away, Robbie.
Good evening, Chairman Lyon, Commissioners. Robbie Aaron, Planning Department and Community Development. Thank you. This is a use permit standard to reduce the side yard setback for the 15-foot high accessory building from 9 feet to the district standard of 5 feet. You can see this is aerial. They're looking at placing it in the bottom, under the bottom left corner, the southwest portion of their property. I'm going to go to the next slide. This is a site plan that shows, sorry, I misspoke. They're on the southeast portion of the property. This is the site plan that shows where they're looking to place the RV garage. Within the access for the RV garage will be off the existing alley. Next slide, please. Again, you saw these elevations, just a couple elevations, the west or left elevation, the south elevation that would, with the garage door that would open and you would enter from the alley. Next slide. The north elevation, so what you would see from the street, although it's pretty far set back from the street that the house fronts, so it's kind of difficult to see. I have some pictures that shows that, and then the east elevation that shows the door to the bathroom. I do want to note that the bathroom is not accessible from the interior of the RV garage. Next slide, please. Again, a floor plan that shows that. So you have a door that goes into the RV garage from the backyard, as well as the pool bath, which has a small shower, a sink, and a bathroom, something real tiny, just like Ms. Mendeville said that you would use if you were out at the pool. Next slide. Some site photos. So you can see the one on the left is taken from their front yard. So like I said, it's kind of really hard to see back there. There's trees blocking the view. And you can see the one in the middle is a little closer to the gate that's open. And then the one on the right is a picture of the building from their backyard. Next slide. Use permit criteria. This is going to cause any additional vehicle or pedestrian traffic more than expected from the single family owner occupied use that already exists. It's not going to generate any greater emissions or cause any nuisance more than ambient conditions. It's not going to contribute to the deterioration or downgrading of property values. Next slide. Is compatible with the existing neighborhood. Upon a visual survey through the neighborhood, I noted various different structures in rear yards, whether they're permitted or not, I don't know. However, they were of various setbacks and various heights, so it's very much something that exists throughout the neighborhood. I did note, did drive down the alley and noted a few houses through their alley that have like a garage that is accessed from the alley. So this is something that already occurs in their neighborhood. And then again, it's a single family use. So I think Ms. Mendeville and her husband will have adequate control of their grandchildren. That may cause some disruptive behavior, but that's to be expected in a single family home where there are kids playing. Next slide. No neighborhood meeting required. Staff did receive one phone call in support, and then one comment in opposition to the proposal, which I did forward to you all on Friday as part of the update. And next slide, staff is recommending approval subject to our standard conditions. I will take any questions if you have them at this time.
All right, Commission, questions for Mr. Aaron?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Sumner's here.
Yes, go ahead.
Just a question. Have we heard at all from the neighbors to the east? They would seem to be the most impacted by this. Just curious if we've heard anything from them.
I haven't specifically heard from the neighbors to the east. I'm aware of the couple.
Robbie?
The one? Yes.
This Vice Chair, on the chat portion of our application, the next door neighbor, John Wallace at 501 West Manhattan, has just chimed in, and I'll read what he posted. This is John Wallace at 501 West Manhattan Drive, next door neighbor. We have no problem with the variance. The Mendevilles are good neighbors and people.
That would be
That was just posted.
Yeah, they're just to the west. So 501 would be directly west of them. So I think
No, 501 is directly east.
Directly east of them, correct?
And closest to the part, the wall.
Right.
Be affected
Right.
by this building.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
They're concerned with John.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Robbie. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, other questions for Mr. Aaron, please? Let's go ahead and use those digital hands if we could.
Chairman, also to clarify from a public comment standpoint that postcards were sent out to all the residents within 600 feet.
Okay. All right. I'm not seeing any further questions for you, Mr. Aaron. Wait, there's Commissioner Sumner's. Go ahead.
Sorry, guys. I was going to let everyone else jump in if they had questions. I just have curious a question about the materials for the finish. The plywood, is that something that's allowed under code? Just not the typical siding that we see.
We don't get into a whole lot of design, from a planning standpoint. I'm not sure about the building code aspects of it. That's not my area of expertise, so I wouldn't want to answer that question from a building safety standpoint. I guess I don't know how to answer your question per se, if it's allowed or not. And from a planning standpoint, yes. I don't know if Steve or Suparna have any insight into from a building safety standpoint.
Go ahead now. All right, I was going to say, if you could maybe answer this question, what additional approvals will this structure require as far as building permits?
It will require any building permit that is required by building safety. So it will require electrical, foundation, all those typical building permits that they would need to get through building safety, which are still going to be required, and they still need to obtain those. So if the siding is something that is not allowed by building safety, it would be noted at that time, or they would have to bring it up to code if it needs to be fire rated or something like that.
Okay, will that satisfy Commissioner Sumner's?
Yes, sir. That'll work. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Aaron. So let's come back to Ms. Mendeville. Now that we've heard from staff and asked a couple of questions. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Hang on one second. I apologize. Hold that thought. Ms. Dasgupta, do we have anyone from the public who wishes to make comment?
No, we do not.
Okay, sorry, I had to make sure that we had taken care of that. So, Ms. Mendeville, if you're still there,
Yeah, I am.
okay. Would you like to respond to anything you've heard from staff or questions?
What would be the next thing?
Yeah, I guess what would be the next step that we do?
Roofing gonna be next.
I mean, they have to, do they come out then and inspect what's been done and then we get the permit, or what exactly is the next step, I guess, or?
This is Suparna. You will have to come and get the permit or online. We have online submittals. We will basically refer you to the permit center, and they will walk you through the process to get all the permits that are needed in order to get this back as an authorized construction. And so Robbie will get back with you with the permit center number. You will have to provide your plans to the building safety with their permit fees, et cetera, and then they will take it from there.
Okay, so Robbie then will email me then the information?
Absolutely. Staff will follow up with you with the next steps.
Okay, and is that like is there a time frame for that as far as when I should be looking for an email?
It should be by tomorrow, we should be able to give that information to you. If not right now, Robbie's listening to it, so he can actually send you an email right now, probably.
Oh, okay.
But by tomorrow, we'll give you all the information for sure. And then you will have to take it from there, and we are there to assist you too. If you have any questions, Robbie's there to help you through the process too.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Mr. Abrahamson?
Yes.
I was going to basically state what Ms. Dasgupta was indicating, but I will state this. All that is true if this is approved tonight.
Right, so we still have to take a motion on your case. This is still your first step, just so you know. All right. Well, I guess if that's all, the only comments and questions you want to make, then we'll thank you. And we'll move on to our commissioner discussion. Commissioner Amorosi.
Thank you, Chairman Lyon. I wasn't going to discuss anything. It seems like they want to make good on their problem about not getting a permit, and it clearly looks like a garage, and that it won't be redone as a accessory dwelling unit. So I would make a motion to approve the Mendeville Garage PL 200102.
All right. Let me check real quick. Commissioner Casano, do you have a comment?
The only comment I have is I did drive to the site and everything else, and I had, from the street, I had a lot of difficulty locating the garage. So as far as an impact from the street there, I see none, and I think that was also mentioned here as well. So I would, based on my comments, I would second Commissioner Amorosi's motion, if that's in order.
All right. So just before we move on with the motion, I will add that I live in the immediate vicinity, and I walk my dogs close to every day directly past this property, and I've never seen this structure from the street. All right. So any additional comments, or shall we move forward with that motion? All right, let's move forward with the motion then. So we have a motion to approve from Commissioner Amorosi and seconded, sorry, I'm trying to write and speak here, Amorosi, and seconded by Commissioner Casano. Commissioner Brower, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Casano?
Aye.
Vice Chair DiDomenico?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Commissioner Sumner?
Aye.
I'm getting a lot of noise from the Commissioner Casano, I think. Commissioner Amorosi, please.
Aye.
And Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
All right, so the motion passes 7-0. We'll thank you, Ms. Mendeville, and you should be hearing from our member of staff shortly.
No, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. All right, Commission, one to go. We have the Winfrey trailer. Do we have Miss Pamela Winfrey with us on the line?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear
Okay. Hi. Yes. So my name is Pamela Winfrey, and
and I prepared a presentation for you. I apologize in advance if it's not the kind of thing that you normally see. But anyway, so I have a 17-foot trailer in my front yard. Go ahead to the next slide. This is the aerial. It's 17 feet long. It's in great conditions. It's licensed, and it's been there for over a year with no complaints. And it is in the gravel area. If you can take a look, you see the white car and the black car. Oh, in the previous slide. Well, this is fine. It's right under that tree right there. So go ahead, go to the next one. So here's what it looks like from the east. Go ahead, keep going. Here's the west. Keep going. The northeast, keep going. The north, keep going. And the northwest, keep going. This is what it looks like inside, so you know that it's well kept. Keep going. So I'm requesting a special use permit. I work for 2 labs at ASU. One's a cancer research lab and the other's a lab about cooperation. And I use this trailer as my writing studio. And I've used it to write, ironically, a paper on cooperation during COVID. Next slide. Primarily, I'm showing you these slides so that you know that I'm not just a dilettante. I actually do use this space and I'm a working writer. I just finished Betsy on the Run, which is a podcast about cancer. Go ahead, keep going. Desert Trilogy, which is 3 short films about death in the desert. Next slide. And then due out October 2020 is historical fiction about the architect Andrea Palladio. Keep going. So under COVID-19, this space is even more essential. I say like a movie trailer, this is 1959 Aloha trailer represents stories that will unfold in the future. Next slide. And if I fail to get this special use permit, I'll be forced to sell the trailer and write inside while I listen to Insanity, the appropriately named death metal band. And I think there's one more slide, and that's just thanks for listening. So I realized that I kind of emphasized my my writing, but I'm sure you probably have more logistical questions about the trailer. So I'm all ears.
All right. Let me just say I love your presentation.
Good, because I thought, oh, this is so not what these guys are normally seeing.
That's okay. Well, we know which questions we want to ask.
Okay, good. I figured.
All right. So, Commission, what questions do you have for our applicant? Commissioner Cusano, please. You are still muted, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I would like to ask Ms. Winfrey, is there no way to park this trailer in the backyard?
Yeah, I wish there was. I actually did the measurements. The aerial photograph actually has measurements of the alleyway and the egress. And unfortunately, I can't get the van, which is what I pull it with, and the trailer into the backyard. So that was certainly what I was hoping for, but I don't see that it's going to work.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I'll save this for staff when the staff is back here because I have a question of them. Thank you.
All right. Other questions, please.
Mr. Chairman Lyon, Phil Amorosi.
All right, go ahead, Commissioner Amorosi.
Ms. Winfrey, what about trimming that tree back that that's right behind your trailer and moving the trailer back into the side area there, like one of your neighbors said, and then put a fence up so you don't see it at all?
Yeah, that would be nice, except the eaves are lower than the trailer.
And so you can change the eaves, or what about like a bigger gate in the back alley area so you can make that turn?
Yeah, the gate it has plumbing right on the other side of the gate, so we'd have to move all of the pool plumbing in order. Yeah, thank you. That's good. In order to be able to widen the gate, and I also don't actually know how unless I could figure out a way to pull it all the way through to the front, I don't know how I could get it in with the, because the van is almost longer than the trailer. The trailer's 17 feet and the van is easily 17. So I don't think I can get both the van and the trailer in the backyard. Because of course that's what I would prefer actually, but I don't see how that's possible space-wise.
Right. Now, what about the gate? Couldn't you create a gate on the opposite side, on that would be the east side, I think, of your property?
Same problem. Like if you look at the back of the house, and like if I put a gate on the east side, there's not enough space to get the trailer and the van. I would hit the house before the trailer and the van.
Well, we're just worried about the trailer, not the van. You know, you'd have to unload it and load it off the van, put your van back in the front. It's the trailer that's the problem.
How do you move a trailer without a van?
Well, you back it up and then you hook it up, then you pull it out, and then when you're done and you back it up, then you unhook it and you move the van.
Oh, yes. I don't think that the 16 feet, I don't know. To be honest, I'm not the greatest driver. And I had a little bit of trouble even getting it where it was. It's possible. I don't, my only green garden is there, so I'm loath to get rid of that.
Yeah.
But it's possible. It would definitely mean getting rid of all the plants, and you can see there's a garden there.
I'm giving you the options because a lot of neighbors don't like it. So
oh, is that
there
true?
are options out there.
See, I didn't know that because nobody came to me and said, I have issues with your trailer. I would have loved it if they had, because I would have responded, but I didn't know that everybody had an issue.
Thank you, Chairman Lyon.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I was going to ask a similar question. You said that there wasn't room to pull the van and the trailer into the backyard, and I wonder if there's any possible way to back the trailer in. So you have your trailer and van combo, and the trailer goes in first, and then you detach that once it's in place and drive the van away. Is there any possibility that could be done?
Well, so maybe you guys are a little bit more experienced than I, because there's about like 3 inches clearance on the existing gate, for example. This is my deal. My husband this is not my husband's thing. And he's also not a RV driver. But I don't see how I could do that, because the alleyway is only 16 feet wide. So the geometry of getting it into that gate, I think I think if I get it in there, I'm never getting it out, is what I think, which is possible. I do take it up. I do these writing workshops for myself about 4 day long. And under normal circumstances, I do that quite frequently. I go up and write. But I think if I got it in there, I think it would have to just stay there, I think.
Gotcha. All right, well, it could well be that that's true. And to be frank, this discussion we're having with you now is largely immaterial to whether or not we approve your application. I think we were just trying to offer some other possibilities for you.
I appreciate that.
All right, so let's move on. Do we have any more questions for our applicant, please? All right, seeing none, we will thank you for the time being. We'll come back to you and you'll have a chance to respond to what you hear from here, Ms. Winfrey.
Can I ask one more question? Sorry.
All right.
Does it make a difference if it is in the driveway as opposed to parallel with the driveway? No? Okay. Just check.
Mr. Aaron, are you with us? Can you respond to that when you do your presentation, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Do you have any more questions, or we will move on to staff presentation, but you'll have a chance to speak again later.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Aaron.
I am here. I'm ready.
Show us what you got. Also, happy birthday, Mr. Aaron.
Thank you. see my
I know
beautiful
that
decorations here?
you are at least 3 years old now.
3 years, yes. Good evening again, Chairman Lyon, members of the DRC, Robbie Aaron. This is a use permit to allow a travel trailer to be parked within the required front yard building setback for the Winfrey trailer. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. I think this is the best slide to show. I kind of put some little letters A, B, and C. Ms. Winfrey suggested in her letter of explanation that she could park it in either A, B, or C. I will go ahead and say that no matter if it's in A, B, or C, it would still be a violation of code because it's within the front yard setback. Next slide, please. A few site photos that Mrs. Winfrey already posted, so I will go ahead and move on. Next slide. Use permit criteria. 1, this will not cause a significant increase in the vehicular or pedestrian traffic. It will not cause a nuisance. It's not expected to generate emissions or any noise or heat, glare, any of that becoming a nuisance. The contribution to the deterioration of the neighborhood or downgrading property values in conflict with the goals or objectives of the general plan. The approved design may set a precedence for other neighbors to begin parking their RVs in the front yard setback, which is something that we in the planning department typically do not approve of. And that there have been some approvals throughout the city under different circumstances. However, those approvals have sometimes also had conditions where it was simply to give time for those people to move their RVs out of the front yard setback. The subdivision was designed to provide off-street parking in garages and carports or the backyard, as you all have suggested, with alley access or street side access in some cases where you have a corner lot. Next slide, please. Compatibility with the existing surrounding structures. There are no other approved use permits in this particular neighborhood that allow recreational vehicle to be parked in the front yard setback. In my research, I did note that there was one application previously, although that application was pulled by the applicant and they were refunded their application money. They did not follow through with the application. And this proposal is not expected to create a nuisance and from disruptive behavior inside or outside the premises. Next slide, please. Again, no neighborhood meeting required. We did send out postcards to 600 feet as Suparna stated on the previous application. Staff received 1 phone call and 2 comments in support of Ms. Winfrey's trailer being parked in the front yard setback, and 7 comments in opposition of the use permit. A majority of the comments in opposition of the use permit request were stating that they didn't want this to set a precedence for other people to be able to park their trailers in the front yard setback. And there were a couple that suggested potentially just moving it back a little further than where it is. Next slide, please. Based on the information provided by the applicant and the analysis of the use permit criteria, staff cannot support the approval of this requested use permit, and therefore we are recommending denial. I will take any questions that you may have at this time.
All right, Commission, any questions? Commissioner Casano?
As I stated earlier, I was going to ask the commission, but it's been answered because I remember for years we have been fighting the battle of additional vehicles of any kind being parked in the front yard setbacks to avoid these situations. And since this is a violation of that, that's what I wanted clarification on, that it's still a violation. Things have not changed. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions? All right, I'm not seeing any, so.
Chairman Lyon, sorry, I do have one. This Vice Chair Verdemonico, Robbie, can you just to clarify, it's really the nature of the vehicle or equipment that's being parked as opposed to its size or condition. So in other words, it's a travel trailer or an RV or a boat, and that's what makes it an issue. It's not too close to the street, it's not obstructing the public right of way, and it's not the condition. So this could be a 1958 rusted out Suburban that would be even bigger, but that would be allowed. But this is a vehicle that must be pulled by another vehicle, whether it's a boat or a travel trailer, and that's what causes the issue.
That is correct, Commissioner Domenico. It is that it has to be pulled by another vehicle and that it is not an operable vehicle in and of itself. If there were a small RV that was kind of like a motorhome that was less than 20 feet, I believe, it would be allowed because you can just drive it away. It's an operable vehicle with a motor and those kinds of things. And Steve, Steve can clarify on the exact size. I believe it's 20 feet though.
I've seen people that have, they buy an old decommissioned short school bus, one of the little, yellow school buses, and they turn that into a camper or some sort of use and park that in the front drive, and that's okay. So that's the difference, is it's motorized, you can drive it away.
Exactly.
Thanks,
sir.
This is Commissioner Johnson. I have a question.
Okay, 1 second, if you please. Mr. Abrahamson, please.
Thank you, Chair Lyon, members of the commission. With a travel trailer, if it's under 21 feet, or actually if it has no means of locomotion of its own, it's not allowed. If it is a vehicle with means of locomotion, it can be up to 21 feet in length. Over 21 feet requires a use permit as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abrahamson. Commissioner Johnson, please.
So the way I'm reading this is that the travel trailer would not be allowed within the 20-foot front yard building setback. How far into that building setback does the trailer get into? How far does it breach that 20 foot?
I don't exactly know. As I didn't go out there and measure it. Most houses, as you may know, especially the older ones, are built right up to their front yard setback, maybe a few feet behind it. And that may be a question for Mrs. Winfrey, if she might have the answer to that, knowing how far it reaches into the front yard setback, but I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm just looking at the aerial that was shown several times that shows the A, B, or C, and there's a house that is two houses to the west. I'm sorry, to the east, and they actually have a trailer parked on the side of the house. So I'm just wondering, and I know we were talking about this earlier, but is there a way that they could get that trailer to the side of the house, somehow dealing with the eave? And I guess that's not a question to you, but just a comment.
Thank you.
All right, any more questions for Mr. Ahrens? All right, seeing none, let's move on to public comment section. Ms. Dasgupta, do we have anyone who wishes to make comment on this case?
Chairman, we have one chat message on Cisco WebEx from a neighbor, Mr. Bill Goodenberger. And it says, I'm Pam's across the street neighbor. The trailer is quite unobtrusive. I'm just across the street.
All right, fair enough. All right, with that then we will come back to Ms. Winfrey. And you are free to respond to anything that you've heard up to this point.
Well, of course it's disappointing. But I do appreciate, actually really appreciate you guys going, can you do this? Can you do that? Maybe you can do this. And I do appreciate that. I mean, the thing that's really hard is that this happened May 1st. So it's disappointing to me that people are turning people in during COVID when I'm going to have to sell this thing. And I really don't want to sell this thing during COVID. I'm 64. And I feel like, I mean, you guys don't need to hear this, but that's disappointing. It's a disappointing negative cooperative thing. And I understand this idea that I don't want to set a precedence. On the other hand, I did call before I bought it, and I asked the city about the 17 feet, and I'm actually not sure whether I use the word trailer or RV, but they said as long as it's under 20 or 21 feet, then I would be fine. So I went ahead and bought it. And I'm sorry I did. But it sounds to me like there's not a lot I can do. I don't hear that there's any point in me fighting it. I mean, if there are people in the neighborhood that don't like it, I don't really want to be that. I don't want to be that neighbor. So, so we're done.
All right. Any further questions for our applicant then, Commission? All right. Well, we'll thank you, Ms. Winfrey.
How long do I have before I get it out of here? Because it's gonna take a while for me to sell it. But is there a time limit on when I need to have it out of there?
Mr. Abramson?
It really would depend upon the Code Compliance Division. Generally speaking, you probably would have about 14 days.
Oh.
And that is your appeal period. So,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
two weeks basically.
Is there any way that I could extend that, given that COVID is shut everything down? I mean, really, 2 weeks to be able to sell that thing is going to be horrible.
No, that would be by code. You have 2 weeks to appeal it. So it would be necessary to have that removed within the 2 weeks so as you do not get cited again.
Wow. And I'm assuming appeal is stupid, given what I'm hearing.
Well, I'll tell you in candor, I don't like to recommend appeals because we're not trying to get everyone appealing everything. But I would not say that appeals are stupid at all.
Do they cost more money?
It does cost more money. There is a process for it though, and it would have, well, it would effectively give you some more time to resolve this, and conceivably even win your case. But I can't recommend or recommend for or against that appeal. That would be your decision.
Yeah, I mean, once I heard that I was like basically, again, the rules and the laws were against me, my only thing was special use. And since the special use thing didn't, was kind of a lead boat, I don't see any reason to appeal and spend more money on it. What if I mean, honestly, guys, 2 weeks given COVID is not a lot of time. I mean, do I just hint it up and what are the laws in terms of having it in my front street for a little while? Are there laws? I'm sure there are laws about that.
Mr. Abramson, can you help us out a little more?
Thank you, Chair Lyon and members of the commission. Generally speaking, I believe it's 72 hours on the street, and that's the maximum amount of time.
Okay.
And that is something that is a police department issue. If it's parked on the street and it's noticed, then you'll get a pink sticker on it giving you a certain amount of time to move it. But I don't know what the established criteria are.
Okay. Just checking my options. I'm just trying to figure out. Honestly, I can't believe you guys don't extend it given our situation, but the law's the law, so I have to go with it.
Well, all right. So I will say we we don't really have any special mechanisms set up for how to modify our procedures based on COVID. Mr. Abramson.
Thank you, Chairman Lyon, members of the commission. Kind of working offline here, we will contact code compliance to see if we can buy Ms. Winfrey some time.
Oh, I really appreciate that, Mr. Abramson.
Thank you.
All right, much appreciated. All right, I see several hands here. Oh, wow, quite a few here. I don't know if these are questions for our applicant. Let's do applicant questions first. Mr. Casano, your hand is up. Do you have a question?
You know, it should have been down. I'm sorry.
All
My
right.
apologies.
No problem. Commissioner Amorosi.
Thank you, Chairman Lyon. I was going to suggest to Ms. Winfrey that there are storage lots where you could park your RV somewhere around your area, and that's a minimal cost just to get it out of the way until you sell it. That's an idea.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Any other questions or comments for our applicant? All right, Ms. Winfrey, well, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, so I'm going to make one comment, which is that I find our applicant to be very charming, but regrettably, that is not one of the criteria in play here. Yeah, the thing is, it is pretty widely held that the appearance of RVs and trailers in front yards marks a decline in property values. So there are a lot of people that are unhappy about those in general. So based on that, I'm afraid I won't be able to support the application. Do we have other comments or these motions? Let's go Vice Chair Domenico. I see you on the top of the list.
One solution, should this application be denied, that would be very clear, would be a continuance. What's our next meeting date, Suparna?
Vice Chair, that's August 11th.
So one could clear this up by simply pushing this a month down the road to August. 14th we start. Just throwing that out there.
All right, Commissioner Sumners.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. DiDomenico, I was thinking the same thing. You know, that said, the challenge that we've got, Ms. Winfrey, is we've got 7 letters from neighbors who are opposed to this. And it seems that there's a pretty readily available solution with a 15-foot wide alley. And it looks like you've got about 25 feet in the back of your house to park a 15-foot trailer. So that's something that, you know, is manageable. So I'm not saying I'd be in support of the use permit, but for a continuance, that might work.
All right. Commissioner Bauer.
Mr. Chairman, I kind of see where this is going, and I wanted to say to Mrs. Winfrey that the situation is a difficult one. However, the staff recommendation and what the commission may do may be a benefit to her, because I happen to do just a little research, pulling some county documents, declarations of restrictions. And while I didn't find a set of restrictions specifically for Tempe Royal Palms Unit 8, I found them for Unit 1 and Unit 9. Unit 9 is the subdivision that is immediately north and immediately west of Unit 8, and I found a couple others for other Tempe Royal Palms units, and they have the exact same restriction running back from 1964 all the way through 1974. The Suggs family built this subdivision, and they were pretty sophisticated developers. I fully understand that these declaration of restrictions are not administered by the City of Tempe and certainly have no purview at the Development Review Commission. However, any neighbor could take it upon themselves and try and enforce these restrictions in a court of law. That would simply cost you more money. And so at the end of the day, these things are typically put in place to protect neighbors across the board. And I would support a continuance, but I would not be able to support this application.
All right. Any other comments? All right. So we're hearing some discussion about a continuance. I've heard 3 commission members say they would support it now. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but that's why we have motions and votes. So let's handle that idea first. Before we do that, let me voice my opinion. I would like to help Miss Winfrey, but I feel uncomfortable with the notion that we'll continue the case because we like her and want to help her out here. The fairness side of me says I can't find a ground for continuance, but I may be wrong. So let's hear a motion regarding continuance. Does anyone wish to put forward such a motion? Vice Chair DiDomenico.
Commissioner Lyon or Chairman Lyon, I'm all about fairness today. Seeing as how our next meeting is not too far off, and the trailer has been there for some time, I don't think it's an undue influence on the neighborhood. Just to make it clear, I would not be supporting the application at the next hearing absent any new information that comes forward. This is simply to make it easier for the applicant to comply with the ultimate decision and finding a future home for the trailer. So I move continuance of case PL 200112 to the next regularly scheduled meeting for the Development Review Commission.
All right. Do I hear a second, please?
Seconded, Commissioner Sumners.
Chairman, could we make a date specific to August 11th?
Ah, yes. Vice Chair DiDomenico, can we amend your motion to date specific?
That is acceptable to me.
Okay, and it was August what?
11.
11th. Okay, super. All right, motion to continue from Vice Chair DiDomenico and seconded by Commissioner Sumners. Okay, and I apologize. I have to clarify. I have a typo in front of me, and I'm not sure which one is the typo. Is it Commissioner Brower with an R or Commissioner Bauer?
The Bauer, like the skates.
All right. All right. Good to know. All right, Commissioner Bauer, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right, Commissioner Casano.
Aye.
Vice Chair DiDomenico.
Aye.
I will vote aye. Commissioner Sumners.
Aye.
Commissioner Amorosi.
Aye.
There we go. And Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
All right. Well, you won us all over. So the motion passes 7-0. Ms. Winfrey, you have a little more time to get
Yeah.
that add up on OfferUp or wherever it goes.
So functionally, August 11th, would that give me 2 weeks after August 11th then?
Oh, I just realized there was a major, I made a boo-boo there. Now, I should have asked you if you were okay with continuance. That motion means nothing if you are not.
Oh, I'll take all the time I can get because it's going to take me, it'll take me a little while to find a buyer, I'm sure. So, yeah.
Okay, okay, had to
Yes.
check.
Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes.
And I do appreciate that extra time. It's just it's an unprecedented moment, I think.
Yep, yep, so that gives you a couple more weeks before we hear it again, and just a little more time.
Okay, great. Thank you very, very much. It's actually, except for the decision part, it's been a pleasure.
All right, well said. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our regular agenda. Do we have
Chairman Lyon,
any? Oh, I'm sorry.
one point, just one point of order. I closed out on my screen here whether we've got any. I don't think we did a call to the public for this one. We did read a comment, and I just don't know if staff has any other comments that came through the site.
We did do a call to the public, and the neighbor across the street replied in chat. Bill Goodenberger said the trailer is quite unobtrusive. I'm not aware of any other public comment.
Yeah, I didn't see any other. Okay, very good.
All right, thanks for keeping us on our P's and Q's. Do we have any staff announcements regarding future cases?
Chairman, we do. For August 11th DRC meeting, these are the following cases. A preliminary plat for Roosevelt Corner. This is the application that DRC saw the development plan review application back in 19, and they're just subdividing it at this point as to comply with the development review or the development plan review condition of approval. We also have a request for use permit to increase the maximum wall height in a required front yard setback from 4 feet to 6 feet for own residents at 1712 North Bridal Street. Request for a use permit to allow 2-story residences in R2 multifamily district and 2 use permit standards to reduce side and rear setback for 3 single-family units for Habitat at Roosevelt at 3606 South Roosevelt Drive. We also have a request for an use permit to allow 2nd-story addition for a single-family residence for Merchant Addition located on 101 East Geneva Drive. We have a request for 2 use permits to reduce the required accessory building side setback and the height of the building for the Lara residence at 1091 East Carter Drive. We have a request to allow a gun shop for AZ Guns located at 1510 North Scottsdale Road. We also have a use permit and a development plan review for a drive-through Salad and Go located at 3229 South 48th Street. And we also have another request for use permit to allow 2-story single-family residences in R4 multifamily district, as well as a development plan review for Habitat at Don Carlos. And that's at 1969 East Don Carlos Avenue. And then we are gonna, staff will add the Mrs. Winfrey's application back on the agenda.
All right, so it's going to be a full night. All right, thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.